So this song is titled There'll Be Spring. It's a song that I wrote during a period where I felt like it was just winter, to remind myself that my springtime would come. Music has always been a huge part of my life. Ever since I was young, my dad has always been singing in the house, singing really loudly, introducing us to many different songs. See, your spring is coming, time to sing. In the evening and on weekends, I will be singing at a number of pubs, a number of wedding venues. Because I was in the process of trying to build up my portfolio as a singer-songwriter and eventually to turn it into my full-time occupation. Back in April 2011, one day I just woke up. I just wasn't able to speak and I wasn't sure why. At first I thought it was just a common flu, but after visiting the doctors in my neighborhood for a few times over a few weeks, I realized it could be something more serious because it wasn't getting better. Eventually, a doctor was able to diagnose it as this condition, which is a neurological condition called spasmodic dysphonia. The brain is telling my vocal cords to go into lots of spasms involuntarily. To put it in like a simpler way, it was as if somebody was strangling me as I spoke. I could barely pronounce like maybe more than 2 syllables.
Sing the blues as you paint a fresh coat over the stain.
As somebody who is a writer, who is a communicator, it took a lot of the quality of my life away from me. That actually affected my social life tremendously, so I began to hang out much less with my friends. In terms of being able to do certain things on my own, like go to the coffee shop, order something very specific, like less chili, for example, and I want less sugar, for example. All these things I couldn't really express. I had actually started to build a music studio, to purchase hardware, software, equipment, and it was as if the dream was completely dashed. On that day of the wedding, I picked up my guitar. I went up on stage. I explained to the audience that I was going through this particular condition, and then I just sang. When the song finally finished, I just headed straight to the exit sign. But to my surprise, before I could reach the exit sign, there were actually people who came up to me and started to say thank you for the song, and they started to hug me and they had tears in their eyes. And a number of these people were actually strangers. And they told me that they were very moved by the very act of me performing and singing and sharing my story, because it also showed them that perhaps they could have hope in their own journey.
With your eyes, there's a garden of spring. You can dance, you can sing, there'll be spring. Wipe away all your tears and let goodness take your hand. Oh, come on, dance, come on, sing, there'll be spring. Lift your eyes, there's a garden of spring. You can dance, you can sing, there'll be spring. Wipe away all your tears and let goodness take your hand. Oh, come on, dance, come on, sing, there'll be spring. Spring time is coming.
The thing about music, I feel, is that it can touch you so deeply without going into very specific and very private details. I think there is a huge need to connect, and that's a beautiful thing about songs, that it allows you to do that. Yeah, definitely. I think my voice has improved significantly ever since I lost it. People begin to tell me that it improved around the period where I had just completed my 6-month project with the youths, with Diamonds on the Street. And so it kind of gave me some clues that perhaps this process of recovery had something to do with recovering together with other people, of sharing hope together with other people. And that motivated me to continue with Diamonds on the Street.